What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Breakdown Sportscast. I'm your host, Kory Willis. I hope you all are doing well on a Monday. Got a chance to watch a lot of college football over the weekend with your friends and family, all of that stuff. As always, we appreciate you guys listening in on the show. We're on many different streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Amazon Audible, iHeartRadio, and many other streaming platforms. So we very much appreciate you guys listening in on the show. And, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know how we're doing and, let us know how we can improve for the future. As always, I'm with my good friend and co-host. He is Chris Bolton. What's going on, Chris?
What's going on, Kory? Man, feeling good. It was another crazy weekend of college football as we're about to get into. So, some of the games went the way we anticipated and others didn't. But, overall, man, we got everything we could ask for, I feel like.
I agree. I agree. This weekend, it had it all. And for me, I actually stayed up a little bit later to watch a couple of games, of course. My gosh, Arizona really, they really had me, Chris. I really thought that they were going to do it. But no.
Triple OT.
Yeah. No.
Triple overtime, man. I was talking to some of my friends, and they like to, get into some of the gambling and everything. I was like, look, take Arizona. Take Arizona this week, because it was the same logic we said for the Colorado game. USC just always finds a way to have games be closer than they should be against them. Yeah. And they almost got burned by it.
It's ridiculous. I mean, what does the difference make when you have a Heisman Trophy quarterback such as Caleb Williams to lead your team to victory? I mean, when he had made that 2-point conversion, I literally thought that he was out of bounds. But
right?
He made it in at the nick of time. So, having a player like him,
it's a bad man.
Yeah. He will instantly make your team better when you have players like him. So. They squeaked out the game with a victory. So, hats off to USC. We'll see what happens going forward throughout the rest of the season for them. But that wasn't the only game, Chris. That was just insane in the membrane over the weekend. We had
that's one way to put it. Insane in the membrane, because that's what the coach was. But go ahead.
I know, right? We can go on and on about that, and probably will, but Georgia Tech goes to Miami. Didn't have a chance. I can't even remember what the original line of that game was. Miami was up, Chris, by 3 points, I believe, to be exact. 30 seconds left in the football game. You should kneel, celebrate with your fans.
And go home.
Go home. You run the football, and you fumble the football. You give it back to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, what? They took it 60, almost it was like a 65-yard drive down the field. Close to that.
Yeah.
Score a touchdown. Haynes King with the touchdown throw. Georgia Tech wins the game.
Trash starts to come out the crowd onto the football field. Fans are booing. It's insane.
Just insane. How inept can you be as a coaching staff to not kneel the football?
It's inexcusable. It's inexcusable by the coaching staff, the fact that they didn't kneel the football and get this win. You literally gave this game away. It's like they were playing Madden.
I know.
When you try to run up the score against your friend, you try to get one more play in, you know what I'm saying? Let's see if I get another touchdown in and this game's over with.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. oh shoot, we gonna turn the ball over. Now your friend and took you all the way downfield and got a touchdown to win the game against you. We've all been there before. We've all had it happen.
Yeah.
But that's on a video game, though. We're not foolish enough to let that happen in real life.
Exactly. Like, how do you let this happen? This is totally inexcusable.
It's bad, man. It's bad, and whatever criticism comes to the coaching staff's way, comes Miami's way, is deserved. It's deserved. There's even Georgia Tech's coach said we figured they were gonna take a knee.
That's bad when your opponent knows that, oh, he's going to beat us. Let's just finish the game. Oh, he didn't? Oh, okay, let's go down the field. 60, 70 yards. This is going to be easy. They can't stop us. That wasn't in the bingo card.
That was not. That has no business happening. We're supposed to be talking about Miami being, what, 6-0 right now?
Yeah.
5-0 or 6-0, undefeated, legitimate chance of winning the ACC.
5-0.
It's going to be tough.
That's what
it's going. It's going to be tough to bounce back from this.
Yeah.
Tough. I mean, tough one. Granted, the coach, they had their blunders, with that decision at the end. But Miami didn't do what needed to be done to make sure nothing like this could take place. They should have won by a way larger margin, and to only put up 20 points against Georgia Tech, it leaves the opportunity for crazy stuff to happen.
Yeah. Yes. Like I said, Chris, they
were 19-point favorites. 19-point favorites.
That's insane. It's
bad. It's bad. It's bad, Kory. It's as bad as it gets.
I know, and then I was curious. I wanted to get a little intel on how the fan base felt after that game, and boy, if you're a Miami Hurricanes fan, you are livid right now. Still,
rightly so.
The game went down. You just can't let that happen. That amount of time.
It can't happen.
And they didn't have timeouts. Georgia Tech did not have a timeout left.
It's over. The game is literally over. Over with the kneel.
I don't know where Miami can go from here. I don't know how Mario Cristobal and his staff can survive this one, but they're gonna have to do a lot of winning to really make this
wash away the taste of this loss. Yeah, I mean, you had all the momentum too that things have really, really changed, and you do something like that, Coach Cristobal. It's tough, man. It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
That's forward tough.
Oh, man. Yeah, I know, right? Forward tough. Oh, my gosh. But, yeah, we can go on and on, bashing Mario Cristobal.
Oh, no, the Miami fans have done enough of that for us.
Yeah, I think they have. We're going to let them continue on with that. Yeah, we're gonna let them continue on with that, of course. Just because I think we've said our piece on it, but overall, it was just a terrible blunder. I've never seen anything like that before. But
likewise,
we'll see what happens going forward with Miami. But yeah, y'all. We got a lot to talk about from week 6 of the college football season. We had a lot of interesting games, of course. One of the biggest games that I will say of the year, and I think it lived up to its hype, was OU in Texas, in Dallas, Chris, Texas State Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was out and about enjoying themselves, and they were ready for this football game. What do you think, Chris? Did it live up to the hype?
I think it definitely lived up to the hype, man. In some ways, it exceeded. I mean, it surpassed the hype.
Mm-hmm.
Just the emotion, the raw emotion, especially just early on in the game with the interception that Oklahoma got to kind of set the tone early on. And then Texas turns around and gets the block punt for a touchdown, and just how the team was responding and how the fans were. It's everything you want. Everything you love about college football was displayed in that ball game.
Mm-hmm.
And but Oklahoma, ultimately they made the plays necessary to get the win. And it was a fantastic game to watch as someone, as a fan of college football. It was everything you wanted, I feel like.
I agree. Yeah, Oklahoma defeated Texas 34-30 in the Red River rivalry. Dillon Gabriel, I think overall he had a fantastic game. Throwing and running the football. Passing, he was 23 for 38, 285 yards with one touchdown. And rushing yards, he had 14 carries for 113 yards and a touchdown as well. On the Texas side of things, Quinn Ewers, he was 31 for 37, 346 yards, threw a touchdown, and he did throw for 2 interceptions, pretty much in the first half of the football game. I think that actually hurt Texas more than helped them. But yeah, you can see how both quarterbacks performed in this game, and I think Dillon Gabriel made the necessary plays that he needed to make to keep OU's offense alive and to score. I don't think, toying around with Texas, especially in the second half, can always be difficult because, like we've said on this show, Chris, they're a second half team through and through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that actually showed, of course, in this game as well, that they
Mm-hmm.
are a second half team and they can beat you if they get a chance. But yeah, overall, I say the offense for OU, they played exceptionally well. Defense, they actually played sound as well. As I mentioned, those 2 picks that Quinn Ewers had made in the first half of that football game, I think, if Texas scores during both of those drives, I think Texas
Mm-hmm.
wins
Mm-hmm.
handily. But
Yeah.
shout out to OU's defense for making the necessary stops when they needed to make them in that football game.
The goal line stand,
Yeah.
it was that did it.
Mm-hmm.
That lets you that was the ball game right there.
Yeah.
Texas is supposed to get a touchdown right there, but OU's defense didn't budge. Right there late in the fourth quarter,
Mm-hmm.
and just more credit to Oklahoma. We mentioned the defense has played great all season, but this will be their toughest task, their toughest challenge. And when you get goal line stands against Texas, one of the more talented teams in the country, you get a first drive interception off a quarterback that should be a first round draft pick in the NFL draft. You make plays like that in this ball game. That's what you have to do to prove yourself as a top tier defense in the country. Mm-hmm. And I think even though Texas put up 30 points in the ball game, I think Oklahoma still proved itself to be one of the better defenses in the nation, and that they are for real, and that this team should not be taken lightly at all.
No, no, I'd say they proved a lot with this victory that OU's for real. And that was one of the things that, during our prediction show, what we had talked about. Like, if they could have a game the way that they had on Saturday, it will prove a lot to a lot of the doubters about OU. And just think about last year's game. Like, OU didn't have a chance.
Yeah,
They didn't have any any defense at all to even get a shot to beat Texas. But this year, things like they've created a 360 with this football team in terms of performance, and they look great. And yeah, I think overall, this is a team to watch out for now.
Oh yeah, Dylan Gabriel, he had to play the game of his life, and he did. A threat, passing and rushing the long run at the end of the ball game to solidify the dub was big. He did what he had to do. He put the team on his back offensively and gave them a performance that you need from your starting quarterback to win a big time matchup like this. Mm-hmm. And that's what he did. You couldn't ask for anything else, anything more from Gabriel.
Yeah. Yeah, the ability that he has, with his arm and with his legs is a recipe for success. And, I think the players that he has around him, Farouk is good. Drake Stoops, which is a legacy kid in that program. With him being a part of the Stoops family, they all came together and they all played well too. So Gabriel has a lot of weapons on this team, and it showed on Saturday. And sky's the limit now for the Sooners.
Definitely. You have to put them right there in the mix to be a playoff team. I mean, a win like this over Texas, the top 3 team in the nation, they're right there. They have just as good of a chance as anybody else making the playoff.
Absolutely.
So, be prepared for them to be top 7, top 6 in the nation after you defeat Texas. I feel like.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think you have to now. They came in this game ranked 12th. Yeah, I think it's time to definitely bump them up a couple of spots.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, shout out to Coach Venables, and like I said, before, just the season they've had last year, for him to come out and to take this one, that's how you lock yourself in as a head coach of a premier college football program for years to come, winning rivalry games, but not also winning them when the stakes are at the highest for both programs. This was a huge game for both programs in the grand scheme of even having a chance of making the college football playoff, not just for pride, but like real implications. So this is how you follow up some great coaches that have been at Oklahoma, and you yourself put yourself possibly in that same pedestal.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, sky's the limit for OU. We'll see how the rest of the season fares for them. But you got this game under your belt, and you got it with the W. So yeah, sky's the limit for OU. I think overall these two will play against each other one more time. I think. I do think this
Then you
will.
gotta do it all over.
Yeah, I do think this will be your Big 12 championship game. just hands down. And hey, I'm all for it.
Oh, I don't think anybody who watched that game Saturday would say, "Nah, we don't need to see that one again." Nah, run it back,
Run it back,
just like on Madden. Play
Exactly.
again. Yeah, restart game.
Right. Do over. Let's do this again. Oh man. Yeah, I think honestly we're probably going to see this game one more time at the championship game. So that'll be interesting to definitely watch. Just to see who is the top team in this rivalry. And it'll probably be I'm sure it's going to be a college football playoff defining game, of course, for both teams at that point of the season. So I can't wait. I hope to see it again.
We probably will.
Yeah.
But you're not the only one hoping. we all are.
Yeah. Still a lot of football left to be played, but yeah, I definitely hope that we see it again. So yeah. Any other things that you want to add, Chris, to this game?
Nah, the game speaks for itself.
Yeah.
If you went back, if you saw it live, or you gone back and watched it or anything, you know that was a special game. So great win for Oklahoma, and we'll see how both teams, how the seasons continue to play out for them.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely agree. All right. Well, that will let us segue now to another game that happened on Saturday night. This was a big game that, of course, I was interested in seeing just because the Louisville Cardinals were hosting.
Your Cardinals.
Yes. They were hosting the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Chris. I was excited about this game. And I even got you a little excited about it too.
Yeah.
And I told people, I was like, hey.
Your Cards didn't disappoint.
Yeah. They didn't disappoint. Watch out for Louisville this year. And now look at them. 6-0.
Come on now. 6-0. Everybody stormed the field. Got a huge victory.
Jack Harlow was there.
The Fighting Irish. He was there to take it all in. he was part of the field storming as well, I'm sure. But
I know.
Your Cards, man. 33-20.
Yeah.
A decisive victory.
Exactly. Jack Plummer, he has no relation to NFL quarterback Jake Plummer. But Jack Plummer, he was 17 for 24 with 145 yards and 1 touchdown. Sam Hartman, he did not have a good day. He was 22 for 38 with 254 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he also threw 3 interceptions in that game that really hurt the Fighting Irish. Yeah, overall,
that's the game right there.
Yeah, that's the game. Like
Plummer, no interceptions. Sam, 3.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the stat. That is the stat.
You're not winning ball games like this on the road, Kory.
No.
If you have more turnovers, you have to win the turnover margin, especially in big time matchups on the road. Mm-hmm. And they didn't. No. Louisville took advantage. Look at I think they rushed the ball 40 times. They had 40 attempts. They just grounded this game out.
Yeah.
Just ground and pound, putting Plummer in position to just continue to keep drives alive,
Mm-hmm.
make some key plays. I spoke about Thrash pregame. If that's a receiver to look out for Louisville, because he's the one that's their playmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Over 100 receiving yards and a TD. I think he accounted for about 3/4 of Plummer's passing yards. I mean, he was funneling the football to him whenever he did throw it.
Yeah.
So it's big time performance by them, and just a huge win for this Louisville program in year one with Coach Braun.
I know. It's amazing. They're really showing people right now that they are a force in the ACC. And, knowing what happened to Miami, of course, and Clemson's not doing really good right now, it only brings some new competition, new and fresh competition, I'd say, in this ACC race for the ACC title this year, where Louisville's playing really good football right now. North Carolina is. Florida State's back.
Duke's as much as we want to dog Miami, they were just a kneel down away from being 5-0. So I guess we can keep their name in the mix,
Yeah. I guess for now. I mean, unless you're like two Miami fans out there just being like, "Woo, go Miami! We still got this." Because at this point now, I think their fan base is a little bit off of they're off the bandwagon. But in terms of Louisville,
but yeah, there's a lot of competition in the ACC, and Louisville is making their case.
Yeah, they're making the case right now.
That's a huge win, though, man. Year one. New head coach. Yeah. I don't know if any Cardinal fans, if they saw this in store before the season, if we talk to some.
I don't know. I mean, it's so iffy sometimes when it comes to a first year head coach, where you just have to deal with taking on a new team, handling the players that you have just to make the most out of the season that you're in, and just going from there. It's not an easy task to be a first year head coach all the time. I mean, sometimes you do have an exception where you look at Josh Heupel's first year with Tennessee, and they beat Bama, and they had all of these great wins, and you saw the trajectory with the program going up, and it's still that way now. I'd say outside of a few games, though you have those instances from time to time, but yeah, it's hats off to the coaching staff there in Louisville. Like, they're making the most out of it right now. It's really working wonders.
Oh yeah, they got things going, man. They making it happen. You just gotta give your credit. You know what I'm saying? Clap your hands to them. And if you're a Cardinal fan, I think you're playing with house money. This is year one. Who thought we would be here right now, honestly? So you're enjoying this for what it is. However the season plays out, it plays out. But you guys keep winning. Just enjoy it. Just soak this in.
Exactly. And just real quick, I'll go over the rest of their schedule. So They have a game against Pitt this coming Saturday. They have to go to Pitt for this game. And then they come back home.
Upset. That's upset alert.
Yeah, it is upset alert.
It gets rowdy at Pitt. That's always one of those teams, man, that even when they're having a down year, they always find a way to take somebody to the brink.
Exactly. So they're gonna have to come out and really be serious and try to play the best game that they can play if they want to keep this winning streak going on this year. So yeah, they have Pitt this Saturday, and then the next games they have 3 home games before going back on the road. The first one's against Duke, so that's gonna be a big game. Virginia Tech, then Virginia, and then after that they'll go to Miami.
And you close the season at home against Kentucky.
Yeah, and at home. So
yeah, there's some matchups there. There's a lot of work to be done. It's you would figure they should take care of business against the Virginia, your Virginia schools. But you got to come. We gonna definitely take it one game at a time, and you need to lock in for Pitt.
Right.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not saying Pitt's gonna win, but just lock in because it's easy. We've seen this story before, Kory, where a team gets a huge top 10, top 15 victory, and then the following weekend they're on the road, and you're not as locked in as you were for the previous matchup.
I know.
And it shows in the first quarter, in the first half, and they could be trailing by 14 or 10 at halftime before you know it. So they have to come out ready.
Yep. They're going to have to do it. Yeah, that's like all of these games can be trap games for Louisville if they let them be. Like you said earlier, Pitt's no pushover. That place gets rowdy anytime a top team comes in. So yeah, and I know we've been joking, of course, on today's show, but we still can't count out Louisville. Miami. Just because this one loss won't necessarily define them if they can handle the rest of their schedule. So they're going to have to be ready at all costs, just for people to give them their best game. So I think right now they're doing well, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
For sure. So big ups to the Cards on the W. That's how you make it happen, man. They played the style of football they wanted to. The run game was working. You catch a Notre Dame team whose schedule has been tough, and been a little coming into another physical matchup, and they brought the physicality to them, and that was the winning recipe.
Right. I definitely agree. So, we'll see what happens with the Louisville Cardinals right now. But hats off to Cardinals fans, and see where the rest of the season goes for them. Anything you want to add before we move on?
Nope, I'm good to go.
All right. So now that we are done talking about Notre Dame and Louisville, we will head a little bit west from where this game was taking place, and we will go to Columbia, Missouri, Chris, where the Missouri Tigers hosted the LSU Tigers this past Saturday. This was a game that I was eager to see as well. Both of us were eager to see with how these teams will fare against each other. LSU escapes Columbia, Chris, 49-39. They are now 4-2, 3-1 in conference play now. It was a. I'd say if you're an LSU fan, you were scared to death through this whole game until the end, just because LSU could not stop Missouri's offense at all, and it took them. It took them near the end of the game to finally escape, but yeah, LSU won that football game. Jaden Daniels, he was 15 for 21, 259 yards with 3 touchdowns. Brady Cook, I think he still had a really good day as well, despite the 2 interceptions. He was 30 for 47 for 411 yards, 2 touchdowns, and of course those 2 picks. So yeah, both quarterbacks were playing hard. Missouri was running the football very well. Cody Schrader, he had a great day for the Missouri Tigers. He had 13 carries, 114 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So, if you just by looking at the stats, Chris, you can really tell like LSU's D-line woes is still a thing that's going on, and just their defense in general. I think you mentioned like their secondary, it's just still not where it needs to be, and it did show in that game. And just overall, the defense is not where it's at, but somehow they found a way to win.
They did, and the game went, I feel like, very much how we laid it out there that it would go. We said smash the over if you're into taking the points, because we know I knew LSU was going to put up points. I have all the faith in the world in Jaden Daniels, the way he's performing at the quarterback position, the throws he's making, his ability to scramble, and the plays he's making with his legs. We have no worries when it comes to LSU scoring. Where your worries come in as an LSU fan is the defense. And they make enough plays, which is so crazy to say about an LSU defense. But will they make enough plays for you to come away with the win? In this game, they did. Major Burns. He'll be eating for free all week. He don't have to worry about anything out there in Baton Rouge after getting that interception to seal the deal at the end of the ball game. But this was LSU. It was a pride game for them. They made enough plays defensively to get the win. Would you like to see more to make this not so nerve-wracking? Yes. Can we guarantee you that as an LSU fan that they will continue to make these plays and they'll make the games less nerve-wracking as the season goes? I don't see any evidence of that. I think it's just going to be one of those seasons, man, for LSU fans. Just buckle up and get ready for some foolishness and craziness every week.
I think you're right. After so long, what we always talk about on this show, Chris, you are who you are after 6 games. And it really showed with LSU that this is the team that they're going to try out each and every week. And you can kind of tell that from just Brian Kelly's just demeanor, of course. Like, he knows this defense is not playing up to the standard that they should. You've seen, if you're an LSU fan, you've seen really good defenses from your Tigers just through history. Like the Burrow years, that was a really good defense. This team is far from that. They do not have that caliber of defense to hold off teams like they should. And
Right.
I think we're always gonna you know deal with these shootout kind of games with LSU. They're entertaining, but if you're on the side of LSU, you're always just kind of like holding on each and every game.
Yeah. Facts. Facts. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of like the performances that Jaden Daniels has been putting together, stringing together with this team. Doesn't it remind you a little bit of like how Tebow was with the Florida team that wasn't as good, but every week Tebow was still carrying them, and they were finding ways to get wins?
Yeah.
This is a bad LSU defense. This is a bad LSU defense.
It is.
And, but the offense has been superb, elite. And I don't think that's going to change. I don't think that's going to change. I really, Jaden Daniels is the real deal, man.
Yeah.
He's throwing some balls on the money, like where they need to be.
He is. If there's anything to be excited about right now, if you're an LSU fan, is the fact that Jaden Daniels is keeping you in these games. He is keeping you in these games. Like, you are scoring points, more points than you ever have been. So that's a plus sign. That's a good thing to note. If you're an LSU fan, but this defense right now, it is what it is. Like, there's no going back. There's no like, let me go to free agency or anything right now. Like, you got the team that you have. You got to win with those players. So it's going to be interesting as LSU still has to play Bama. I think they actually have a game against Florida. Yeah. Yeah, they always
still have to play A&M.
Yeah. And then they have A&M. So, and they have to play Auburn this week.
There's still a lot of work to be done to keep yourself in the mix. The season isn't just dead. I thought it would have been if you lost the game to Missouri, but you didn't.
No,
still a lot to fight for.
Yeah, still a lot to fight for right now. So, it's gonna get interesting to see how can LSU just finish out the year with Jaden Daniels playing as well as he's playing, and knowing that they don't have a defense to trot out to really strike fear in their opponents. It's going to be interesting to see where LSU goes from here. And
also, we got to give a shout out to Harold Perkins too. We talk about his ability as a pass rusher, but he picked up a big interception in this ball game.
He did. I think we would be remiss without mentioning just him on the field alone. He is a difference maker. But man, if you're Brian Kelly, you're probably wishing that you had the Steve Urkel machine and you could clone about 10 more of Harold Perkins. Because man, that interception was interesting. It was great to see it.
Yeah, 10. That's being greedy. I think he wish he could just have one more. Just another one.
You think 10 is a little bit too much?
10 is too much. He needs at least one more Harold Perkins. But those guys, they don't grow on trees. He's an elite talent for a reason, man. But he showed off his versatility, with the plays he can make as a pass rusher, but also when he drops back in coverage. So
Yeah.
you'll need more of that, man, as the season continues to try to string along some of these dubs because it's going to continue to be tough. This will be the story week in and week out. Can that defense make enough plays for them to win?
You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what LSU does throughout the rest of the season. But overall, they got the victory. That's all that matters. If you're a Tigers fan now, and you are second in the SEC West, um, yeah,
And
heading to take
shout
on
out to the
Auburn.
water, shout out to my boy Bobby Boucher, Water Boy. You live to fight another day.
Exactly. I agree. I agree.
You live to fight another day, man. That's all you asking for. We
That's
got
all.
to win. Let's try to get another win this weekend.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But yeah. Anything else you want to add, Chris, to this game before we move along?
No, sir. We can keep it moving.
All right. All right. So we had that game in Columbia. We'll move a little bit east now to Athens, Georgia, Chris, where the Georgia Bulldogs hosted the Kentucky Wildcats. This is a game that me and you had talked about on our Friday prediction show. That we were interested in seeing if Kentucky could take a chance and really drop a good game plan to attack that Georgia Bulldogs defense. Did not happen. Georgia,
It was tough.
yes, Georgia defeated the Kentucky Wildcats 51-13 in Athens. Georgia is now 6-0. Kentucky is now 5-1. Yeah, Kentucky did not have a chance in this football game at all, Chris. Which is pretty much what we predicted.
We said Georgia would come out and more than likely play their best game of the season, especially coming off of how they played the week prior. And they got on Kentucky fast and in a hurry. I mean, out the gate, they were on Kentucky's neck, and it was tough for the Wildcats. I feel like Liam Cohen, when you watch the game early on, he drew up some good plays. I just think Kentucky didn't execute.
Yeah, I think so too. I was watching that game a lot, and yeah, just the execution at times was poor. Of course, not being able to catch certain passes, of course, downfield. That they were really struggling to do that, and yeah, they couldn't run the football as well either.
Yeah, so you don't connect on your shot plays that we talk about as keys to winning huge, big time matchups, especially on the road. And we'll get to capitalizing on shot plays and later on in the show. But Georgia did. I mean, Carson Beck, he heard us. He said, "What you mean Devin Leary is more built for this matchup?" Y'all sure about that? Because Carson Beck played probably his best game of the season.
Yeah.
He was accurate. Played very well. And just time and time again led the offense down the field. It was just a great game from him. I feel like all Georgia fans, you sleep a lot better at night knowing now we've seen Carson really go off. Like, we know he can go off, and we know we can win that kind of ball game now.
Exactly. And yeah, it was a this was a big game, I'd say, for Carson Beck's confidence level, with the being in the driver's seat of this offense, being that leader of that Georgia Bulldogs team this year, where he needed a game like this to build that confidence. And hey, he did it. It showed. He had a really great game. He was 28 for 35, 389 yards, threw for 4 touchdowns, and just 1 interception. So, yeah, if you're a Georgia Bulldogs fan right now, you're really pleased with what you saw. And I think now is no question you need Beck to have performances like that week in and week out, from start to finish. Just because before this game, Georgia was starting really slow. But you hope now that this is a game that can really define Carson Beck as a leader of that offense, that can take his team to victory week in and week out from start to finish. So yeah, great day for him. We'll see where it goes for Georgia, but for Devin Leary, I mean, he was 10 for 26, 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he didn't throw any interceptions, of course, but when you're playing,
he didn't make any plays.
Yeah, he just didn't make enough plays in this football game. So 10 for 26, you have to be a lot better, a lot sharper than that if you want to take on a Georgia team that has the amount of talent that they have. But yeah,
if you anticipate coming on the road and winning, everybody has to be better, and they were not good enough, and it was just obvious. It was obvious. Georgia was the more talented team, and they came in just playing a spectacular football. Just the execution level was 10 out of 10.
Right.
So when you are better and then you play better too, put that together, you get what we saw on the field Saturday night, man. Just a beatdown.
Exactly.
It was domination.
It was pure domination for sure. Like, and we said it too. We said Kirby was going to really, light a fire under that team, just because past several weeks they weren't playing it well at all. You knew it was going to come at some point. And players stepped up. Big time. Ra Thomas, Mississippi State transfer. He stepped up, made his first touchdown of the season for the Bulldogs. Brock Bowers. Yeah, all of those players stepped up big time, of course. So
this was good win. Good win for Georgia. And this is how you remind people that we haven't been on our A game, but just know we got that ace in our deck. You know what I'm saying? Ace in the hand. We got that little joker and the big joker too. We still can turn things up a notch if we need to. So they turned it up. they played like the Georgia teams where we're used to seeing play.
Right.
And that's what the fans needed. That's what Georgia fans needed to see. You don't want to win ugly games every week.
No.
You're not trying to win ugly. So you want some to sit back and enjoy a game sometimes, to be able to breathe a little bit. And this was the kind of win that this team needed to have.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. Yeah, it's just a confidence booster when you can, after the weeks that Georgia's been having. You host a SEC opponent and you play as well as you did on Saturday. So it's definitely a confidence booster that can, you can only go up from here at this point, especially with the talent that you have. So I'd say for Beck, like I mentioned a minute ago, he needed this game. So I think it'll definitely help him moving forward throughout the rest of the season.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But yeah, anything else you want to add to this game before we talk about our last game on the show for today?
Nah, nothing more. Tough for Kentucky. Just go back to the drawing board, try to wash this loss away, and bounce back. It's not like that. It's not like Kentucky has never been blown out by Georgia before. This is kind of this is what happens sometimes, man. Georgia blows a lot of teams out. So, it is what it is. You just try to bounce back in your next one.
Absolutely, I definitely agree. Nothing else for me as well. Big win for Georgia, and this week they take on Vanderbilt, so there should be another confidence booster this week.
It can be a confidence drainer if you don't beat them the way you just beat the snot out of Kentucky.
Yeah,
you should put it on Vandy. That's normally what happens when Georgia and Vanderbilt meet up.
Right. Oh man, so it should the confidence boosting should continue in the
It should continue.
if you're a Georgia fan, but yeah, good win for Georgia, and now Chris, we segue to our last game on today's show, where we'll go into Texas, in College Station, Texas, where the A&M Aggies hosted the Alabama Crimson Tide. This was a game that we also had talked about as well. That we really wanted to see what both teams would do in this football game overall. Just because with A&M, they've really started to showcase that defense more in a positive trajectory. I'd say coming into this season, they had a really good defense, but it wasn't showing as much at times. But the last couple weeks, A&M's defense has been showing their dominance, and I think it did do the same as well, of course. But overall, Alabama defeated A&M 26-20. Jalen Milroe, he was 21 for 33, 321 yards with 3 touchdowns, threw 1 interception. Max Johnson, he was 14 for 25 with 239 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. So, a little bit of a back and forth battle between both teams that you can see through the stats and ultimately through the score. But I know Nick Saban said he was proud of his team for fighting back, and another win for Alabama, I should say.
Another win for the Tide. Milroe throwing for over 300 yards, showing why he is the best quarterback on Alabama's roster. His arm has been questioned all season, but he threw for over 300 yards and threw some dimes. The shot plays. Jermaine Burton. What a game.
What a game.
What a game by Jermaine Burton, wide receiver for Alabama. Had 197 receiving yards off 9 receptions, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he made some catches. some crazy catches, some big time, the kind of plays that had Alabama fans hype for his arrival on campus. The receiver that Bama fans felt like they were getting in Jermaine Burton, he put that on display in his ball game. This was his best game as an Alabama football player. And he put on the show. Mm-hmm. That's how you help Jalen Milroe have a huge game. Some of the catches he made, some really high level, tough receptions, and then also some high level routes. The double move that he did on the sideline to break free, to get open down the field. Burden put on the show. That I can't sing his praises enough.
I agree. I agree. He played lights out in this game, Chris, and he really proved that he is the guy to lead. If Alabama's going to come back and do this, if Alabama's going to come back and do this, Chris, you need a guy like Jalen Milroe in that backfield play calling. You just need him.
You have to. Yeah, you got to have him.
Wrap this man in bubble wrap. Do whatever you can, because you need this guy to last the rest of the season for you, to even make it to the playoffs, because that's still a possibility for Alabama, especially with a win like this in College Station. I know A&M wasn't ranked, but I say this was an impressive win for Alabama.
Huge, very impressive. That place was not easy. It's not easy to play at College Station in front of the 12th man. The team that the last time they had you at College Station, they got a win against you.
Exactly.
So the spread was Alabama 1-point favorite for a reason, and it played out in this game where there were moments where A&M could have made something shake. Mm-hmm. But they didn't take advantage. They did not make enough plays. They did not take advantage of the opportunities that were there. Mm-hmm. And Alabama, they did. As the game continued, Jermaine Burton just made catch after catch after catch. And when somebody's doing the things that, if you haven't seen, go watch the highlights. When someone starts making the plays like that, and that their impact player halo starts glowing underneath them, like in the old NCAA games, look, you in for a long day, and that's what happened.
That's exactly what happened. Jermaine Burton, a guy that needed, honestly, there's tons of guys that we can name on the Alabama football team that need to step up. But in terms of receivers, you don't have a Waddle. You don't have a Jerry Jeudy. You don't have a
Devontae Smith.
Jamison Williams. You don't have those guys. Mm-hmm. He needed to step up. Him or someone in that receiving corps needed to step up, and boy, he definitely reminded me of Jamison Williams a couple of times running downfield, just hitting 9 routes, just waiting for the ball to come at his hands. He really did showcase his skill set on Saturday, and it definitely helped Alabama a lot with him, being there to make plays for that team. So hats off to him. But yeah,
for sure. Hats off to him. And now Alabama, despite the slow start, the rough start, you're where you want to be.
Yeah.
You have one loss, but you're undefeated in conference play.
Mm-hmm.
You control your destiny.
Yep.
You control your path to the SEC championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I think you're figuring some things out. You might be learning. Maybe we have a playmaker in Burton.
Yeah.
Maybe Burton is the guy we thought he was when he came to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
You know Jalen Milroe can throw a beautiful bomb pass. I mean, he can really push the ball downfield. So we're going to see, man. You know, it wasn't looking pretty. We wanted to throw them, cast them as being dead, and this is Alabama. This is the year that it doesn't happen. But I think if you talk to Nick Saban before the season, you tell him this is where you're at right now at this point, I think he'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can just kind of see a little bit in his demeanor that things are kind of starting to settle down, because I think he's starting to learn more about his team, and the team is starting to learn more about each other. I think he notices now that he can still win with this football team. They just have to do things a little bit different than what
it's not going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy like it's been in the past,
right?
Like how it's seemed,
right? Little, it's they're gonna have to scrap and fight for these wins a little bit more than what they used to. And hey, Nick Saban being the defensive coach, I think he welcomes that. I think he welcomes that.
That is the kind of challenge I feel like he takes pride in and enjoys. Because it's not going to be like how it's been in the past, where you just blew everybody out, pure and utter domination. No, it's going to be on you as a coach and your staff to show why you're coaching at Alabama, and scheme up some stuff and put your players in position to make some plays and live with the result. So they're earning their check this year is what I'll say.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. Yeah, they. Yeah, I think everyone's earning their NIL money, and they're earning their checks right now from Nick Saban. Yeah, I'm even looking at the rest of the coaching staff outside of Saban. Just because I think we have to, Chris. Like, it's a brand new coaching staff. They're learning. They're also making common errors. Of course, more so than I think any Alabama fan has ever seen. Or I think the game they had, the game over the weekend, they had like 9 pre-snap penalties or something like that in the game. It usually Alabama teams in the past they don't make many mistakes. So
we make you make the mistakes, and we just take advantage. Yeah,
right. So this team isn't. They're mortal at the end of the day, but I think they are finding themselves a little bit more, and hats off to the players and the coaching staff for beginning to figure things out in a way that's in a more positive trajectory than in the past this season. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Alabama going forward. They have a game against Arkansas this coming Saturday, so that should help them some more. And the game is at home, so that should help with boosting the confidence level of this Alabama offense and just as a Alabama team all around because I think they need it.
For sure. And then we'll be getting ready for another key matchup for the Tide here in a couple weeks. But yeah, go back home, take care of business against Arkansas, and continue to somehow, some way be right there in the mix for a playoff spot.
I agree. I definitely agree. But yeah, man. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got. Anything else you want to add about this game before we
nothing
finish
else.
up?
I mean, nothing else on this game. Just the weekend gave us, everything we could ask for. Some craziness, some scares. Ohio State was spooked a little bit by Maryland.
I know.
We saw some dominance. Michigan play some good football and put the thumping, the smackdown on someone. And USC, the gift that keeps on giving of crazy scares. Triple overtime with Arizona. I mean, some blowouts, some close games. You got everything you wanted this weekend.
Yeah.
Did you maybe get it from the team you wanted to see it from? Nope. You might not.
Yeah.
But everything we wanted to see, it did take place.
I agree. We got it all. We got it all. Dion said, he loved this team for winning this week, but they play like hot garbage. We saw it all.
Man, it took them boys the final drive, the deep bomb.
Yeah.
Set up the game-winning field goal. I mean, hey, sometimes look. After your team just lost 2 games in a row, you just trying to get a win.
Yeah, look,
it don't matter how. You just need a dub.
You just need a W. You just need it.
They got it.
They got it.
The Buffs got it. Colorado got it.
They got it. They got it.
So yeah, man, it was another fun weekend for sure.
Yeah. Well, it was a fun weekend. Yeah, we saw it all. Even just looking at it now, like UCLA defeated Washington State. That was a big win. So,
and you said that too. You said who says UCLA can't bounce back and get a big win over Washington State? Hey. It happened.
I know. Like they got a pretty good quarterback too over there in UCLA. Like I like Dante Moore. So yeah, we saw it all over the weekend, of course. But yeah, around this time of the season, you really start to see these teams as they are, and you really start to map out, who's where on the scale system. So yeah, this was a great week of college football, and I know we'll get another great week as well that we're definitely going to talk about later in the week. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Of course, you can find your boy as we wrap up on social media. Follow me on X, Chris_Bolton_12. And then you can get me on Instagram too, Chris.Bolton_. And just holler at your boy there. You know what I'm saying? We can talk some college football. NBA season starting up too.
College
NFL's going on right now. College basketball right around the corner. I mean, this is about to be that time of the year, man, where everything collides. MLB playoffs going on.
Oh man,
this is as juicy as it gets as a sports fan.
I know. This is like getting a juicy T-bone steak, Chris.
Cooked medium.
Exactly. That's what my dad would say. Like, you give me the mushroom gravy and all.
Oh yeah. Oh, please.
Serve it up on a silver platter. That's where we're at right now. This year,
you got
in sports.
I'm over here just lips watering just thinking about one. But we good, we good. I'm bringing it back. I'm locked in. I'm back.
Oh man, we appreciate y'all listening in on the show. Of course, if you want to follow me on social media, you can also follow me on X. It's at Listen to KSW. I'm on there talking college football, anything else, professional wrestling, video games, NFL, yeah, any sports topic that you want to discuss, I'm there. So definitely hit me up on there. So, but yeah, that's it for today's show, y'all. We appreciate everyone listening in on the show, and yeah, we should be back this coming Friday for our week 7 predictions.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, but yeah, until then, y'all, everyone take care, and we will see y'all then.
Peace.
Peace.